This footage is from a documentary that I graded. We've got different cameras, different locations, different lighting, the whole gamut. But to get to the place where everything matches nice and where everything has that solid finished look, it takes a lot more than just a quick LUT. So in this video, we're gonna break down the 7-step process that I use to grade this project. This one is sponsored by Rapid Grade, which is such a cool new tool. You're gonna wanna stick around to at least step 4 to check that out. So secure the cup and let's get into it. Step 1 starts before I ever touch a single color wheel. It's probably the least glamorous part, but it's one of the most important if you don't want to waste a ton of time later. Project setup. Quick context first, I was brought onto this project by the director, Malcolm Owen Flood. We had a couple of conversations ahead of time about what he was looking for. I asked him to email me some notes on the look that he wanted. Every client is a little bit different at this stage. I'd say Malcolm gave me just enough to know what he was after, while still leaving me plenty of flexibility to make creative choices. He edited the project in Resolve, so he was able to use a function called media management to export only the footage that I actually need, trimmed down just to the pieces that were actually used in the cut. That has a huge file size advantage over receiving all the source files, and a workflow advantage over receiving one big exported ProRes file too. But it also comes with a few quirks, which we'll get into in step 2. From here, I open the project to make sure that my settings are what I want them to be. 4K timeline, working color space set to DaVinci wide gamut, and output set to Rec 709 for SDR delivery. And then I just spend a bit of time watching the film, digging into the files, getting familiar with the project so that I can move to the next step with confidence. So now that I'm familiar with the project and I've got a pretty good idea what I'm getting myself into, it's time for step 2, organization and grouping. Remember how I mentioned we had a bunch of different cameras, a bunch of different scenes, and so on and so forth? Here's how I make that easier on myself. First, I made a table in a notebook that separated the 12 different types of shots that I wanted to keep track of. So we've got the artist interview A cam and B cam, the same thing for the producer interview, a bunch of studio behind the scenes footage. Some of it's on an A7 IV, some on a Red Dragon, some on a Canon from the concert footage. We've got home studio footage and so on and so forth. So for each of those, I wrote down the shot, the camera, and then I used Resolve's flag function to give each of those shot types its own flag color. And this was even more important than usual because of that quirk from the media management export. Even though something like the interviews were originally all one big clip, I couldn't use remote grades because the export turns them into their own individual clips. So flagging at least lets me get them all organized together. Once the flag colors are in my notebook, I decided how I wanted to group them. When you put clips into a group in Resolve, they share certain parts of the grade called the group pre-clip and the group post-clip. So instead of having to grade the same look onto 50 separate interview clips, I grade the group in one of those 2 areas and it just carries across all of them. Then I just tweak the individual clip portion underneath of that group look, but we'll get into that part a little bit later. I specifically pick groups where the overall look is okay to be the same. So all of the interview footage went into one group, the studio footage from both cameras went into another group, concert footage in a group, and then the home studio and the extra B-roll stuff all went into the final group. This was super easy to do right in the color page. Just filter by the flag and then make a group out of all the clips with those flags. So between flagging and grouping, I've turned my messy pile of split up clips into a handful of organized buckets that I can actually grade efficiently. And that sets me up for step 3, where I finally get to do some actual color grading. Step 3 is what I call doing my hero frames. Basically, before I dive into grading the entire project or building a look for the whole thing or for different parts of it, I select a handful of hero frames that I think kind of represent the project best. Usually I'll try to do at least one from each major scene or location, and I try and find the frames that have the main subject in them, the ones that could almost tell the story of the project on their own. Once I've got my hero frame selected, I start with some basic conversions. So I use a color space transform to get each clip into DaVinci wide gamut. That becomes my common color space so that I can apply the same look across post clips from a bunch of different cameras. Then at the very end of the chain in the post clip group, I convert from DaVinci wide gamut to Rec 709 using the popular $24.99 conversion. Think of it as a slightly more stylized version of using a regular CST. You don't need to have this, but it is a nice look. With that in place, I go to each hero frame and start balancing. For exposure, I use the exposure slider in the HDR panel. For white balance, there's a little trick that I love. I right-click the white balance node, I change it to linear gamma, turn lume mix all the way down, and then adjust using the gain wheel. It's just a really nice way to get really clean, great-looking white balance adjustments. And that's really it for this step. The goal here isn't to make anything pretty yet, it's basically just to have a handful of key shots at a baseline where I can actually trust them. Because once those hero frames are balanced, they become the foundation that the look and eventually the whole film gets built on top of. And with that foundation in place, we move on to step 4. Step 4 is probably my favorite part of the process and probably the most exciting transformational part too, building the look. This is where Rapid Grade comes in. It's the tool that I use to build the actual look for this project, and it's the sponsor of today's video. It takes a bunch of really advanced color workflows and it puts them behind one interface that's actually approachable. So here's how I built the look for this project. Up at the top of the window, you set your color space. So of course I went with DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate because that's what we're working in. And this node is in my group right before my output color space transform. Then I basically started from one of the built-in looks that gets me kind of close to what I think I want on this film. On this one, I used one of the preset looks called Clean Film as my kind of starting point. In the film look section, the preset loaded up a Kodak 2383, which I was not surprised about because I'm a big fan of 2383. I then work the film contrast, dialing in the blacks, mids, highlights to taste, and I use the blend slider to control how much of it actually comes through on the footage. Then we've got split toning, which I absolutely love in this plugin. It gives us our color contrast while still protecting skin tones. We can use the hue and balance dial to dial in which colors we want to be in the split and where we want the split to land in terms of how bright that crossover point is. And there's also a skin hue rotate slider that lets you adjust the skin tones if you need to. A couple of global tweaks to even things out after that, a little tint, and I pulled the exposure back down because the film contrast lifted things up a little bit. I'm just gonna skip the shot correction section for now because I'm building the look for the whole group, not just fixing a single shot. So that'll come later and I'll use different tools for that in this specific case, but the shot correction section is pretty cool if you wanna check that out. A bit of film saturation on the default pop setting, which is really nice. Some film density, which really makes it feel like you're actually using film. And then just a touch of bleach bypass to dial back the saturation a little bit and get us a little bit more into that film contrast vibe. Then just a tiny bit of 35mm grain, almost an imperceptible amount, but it just adds a certain feeling and it sharpens things up just a hair. Originally, when I did my first pass on this look, Rapid Grade didn't have a diffusion section, but they actually added it in an update and I love how it looks, so I added the Hollywood Blackmagic preset at 1/8 strength. It just softens and blooms so nicely. Then I'm going to check the look across all of my hero shots, making sure that they're getting me close to what I want across the board, and then maybe tweak a little bit if things are looking a little wonky on certain hero shots. One of the best parts about Rapid Grade is that once I've got a look dialed in, I can actually go up to the top where the presets are and save this as a preset look in my own folder. That way I can drop it onto each group in the group post clip area and tweak individual groups from there if I want different looks for different groups. Maybe it's different scenes or different parts of the film or something like that. If you want to check it out for yourself, there is a link down in the description. And if you're watching this close to the time when I publish, they're actually running a sale right now. So now's the best time to go check it out. Now, we've got a bit of an optional detour before step 5. Let's call it step 4B. Once I had the look built on my hero shots, I exported before and after stills of those shots and I sent them to Malcolm, just to make sure that I was headed in the right direction before I dug into the entire entire film. Now, this isn't something that I do on every project. It heavily depends on who I'm working with. You have to trust that the director actually understands where you are in the process. If they get that, if they understand it, then this step can be really helpful. You get a quick check-in, maybe a few notes, and then that can save you a lot of time from regrading the whole project later. But if they don't understand that, they may look at the couple of frames and judge them as if they were the final project, or start to lose confidence watching you work before anything's really polished. So only pull this move if you know the person on the other end gets it. Malcolm did, so that worked great here. He had a couple of notes about really leaning into the blue, so we tweaked it a bit and moved on to the next step. Step 5 is a bit of a grind, but honestly, if you nailed the organization step, it's pretty satisfying. Basically, I'm going back to exactly what I did on my hero shots before I built the look, except now I'm doing it to every single clip so that they all match. And the key here, the thing that makes it nice, is that I'm actually doing it through the look. The look is already on the group, so as I balance each clip underneath it, I can see exactly how it's landing in the final image. To do this, I use 4 main nodes on each clip. Exposure, using usually the exposure slider in the HDR panel. White balance with that same linear gamma trick that I talked about earlier. The contrast node, depending on the shot, I'll use the contrast slider in the normal lift gamma gain with the pivot set to 0.336, which is middle gray in DaVinci wide gamut, or just adjust the curves. Every clip is a little bit different depending on what it needs. And then I have a color node, which is kind of a just in case node. If I find a specific color I need to tone down or fix, I'll grab the color warper or the HSL curves to fix it. Then it's just clip by clip, dialing each one through the look node until it matches my hero shots and feels good. And as I go, if I grade a shot that I know has similar frames elsewhere in the film, I will save a still of it. Then I can just copy and paste that grade onto the matching shots instead of redoing the work from scratch. It's definitely repetitive, but this is where all that flagging and grouping from step 2 really pays off. The look is already carrying across, so I'm just matching each shot into it. Once every clip is balanced, the whole film is starting to feel like one cohesive piece. And that brings us to step 6. Step 6 is shaping and polish. This is the final layer that guides the viewer's eye. I've got 2 dedicated parallel nodes for this. I call them shape 1 and shape 2, but I can also add whatever I need for the specific clip. I use them to create vignettes and masks, radial, linear, box, whatever I need. Basically any light shaping that I want to use to pull the eye towards what I want you looking at. For this film, it was mostly a lot of radial masks and vignettes, mostly just darkening everything except the subject, and sometimes lifting the subject a little to make them pop. This is also where polish and any fixes would live, so more color tweaking or cleaning up issues in footage like noise. But honestly, this footage was well shot and really clean, so I didn't really have anything to fix. And with that, the grade is basically done, which brings us to the final step. Step 7 is delivering and revising. Once the grade is done, I render it out as a ProRes master and I send it back to the director to review. I'll also try to watch it in a few different places if I can, so I'll watch it on the TV in my studio, I'll watch it on my phone, and wherever else I think somebody else might want to watch it so that I can see what they would see. I make any notes that I think could improve the film on a second pass too. From there, there's usually a round of revisions, combining any notes that I get from the director with my own. Sometimes the director will come in for a final pass to approve things as I fix them, and sometimes we'll just work through it over email. And as long as there are no miscommunications, at that point the project is done. I deliver in whatever format they ask for, and then I get to sit back and wait for the final film to come out. So that's my full process: project setup, organizing and grouping, hero frames, building the look, balancing every shot, shaping, and delivering. Some version of those 7 steps is what I run on pretty much any project that comes my way, and hopefully you can pull a few of them into your own grading. I'd love to know, how does your process differ? Is there any part of your own process that you absolutely swear by that I didn't mention? Let me know down in the comments, and on your way down there, hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification button so you don't miss the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Huge thanks to Rapid Grade again for sponsoring, and I'll see you next time.